All right, welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to be building out an application for the government and their secret agencies so that they can store top secret classified information. Kind of the big goals of this lecture is, again, kind of building on this idea of user-created content. In this lecture, a lot of that content is going to come after the creation of the data. So we're going to have a large kind of text area for users to enter in information, edit information after it's been created, as well as deleting some of that information too. So we're going to kind of mix and match some of the creation from Craigslist and maybe some of the detail viewing from the Gotchamon lecture to kind of create an application that lets us store different files or text files essentially for users to update and kind of edit as they go. And then we'll maybe put like a little special twist on it near the end. So we'll just use the BCW create tool again. This is called redacted. MVC, no extra directory, npm, no other templates, cd into redacted, open VS Code. Really think there's only one good peacock color for this one, and that would be all black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, just about what VS Code already is. Maybe just a tiny bit darker here, okay? We're actually going to get started with our model. Let me try and get these side-by-sides working here. What the heck? Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I guess I'll just kind of have to move this back over like that. Sure, we'll go into our terminal. Oops, BCW live. And then we can see in just a second. It says that's hosted. Localhost 3000. Oh, there you go. Cool. So let's start with our data model again, right? Similar kind of idea from before. Let's create what this model is going to look like. And this is a case file. Export class case file, constructor, data, kind of building off some of those techniques from the last lesson. We're going to make sure that these case files have unique identifiers. So this ID equals a generate ID. Sometimes you'll see that, those different methods from those util files don't pop up. For import is pretty typical, especially when you're just kind of getting started with a project. VS Code hasn't really registered that generate ID is a thing until we've essentially looked at it one time. And then it says, oh, wait, are you talking about this thing over there? All right, so sometimes if you're trying to import something, you might just want to try and open that thing really fast to kind of get that to pop up. This dot agency, data dot agency, this dot, we will create a body equals data dot body. This is going to be the large information of essentially whatever they're typing in. So if they created a case file and then they wanted to type about the incident, there will be a large kind of text body available for that incident. Agency will be kind of who reported it. And why don't we also do a this dot ported date, data dot ported date. We'll kind of set it up in a way so that they can actually select a date. And then we'll maybe add in a couple things. Let's do a to-do. Come back to add in additional properties for redacting, right? This will come into play later, but we probably only need this right now. We don't necessarily need anything else. We're kind of keeping some of these kind of small for right now, okay? And then what we're going to do after we've kind of created this, again, I like to kind of start with a smaller get. So we'll call this the get list template. I'm calling it list template because I would like to have kind of a list of how many case files I have, kind of similar to in the Gotchamon how I had kind of those small cards. And when I clicked on one, I would get a big card. I'm going to have a list template of kind of small pieces of information. And if I click on one of those, it would maybe open it into a different template. And there'd be a large section of my page to render out all that stuff. So I'm just going to have this return HTML div, and we'll just do this dot agency for right now, and we'll kind of just stick to that. Okay, let's go to our app state. Give ourselves a little bit of space here. Case files, empty array, new case file. We'll make sure that that case file gets imported. New case file, agency. We're going to make the agency maybe emoji, A51, something along those lines. Reported date, right? Try and get that reported date in here as well. And we're actually going to make this a, let's do like 08, 31, 2022, something like that, right? We'll want to try and take this date and convert it into a date time. Unexpected end of input. I accidentally got rid of my string ending there. That's important. Okay, that seems to be fine. And we can even put in a body for right now. We'll try and keep it kind of simple. Farmer John saw an unidentified object floating over their cow field. And maybe we'll add in a couple more. Tree. This will be the Forest Service, maybe the supernatural Forest Service, the SNFS. Maybe we'll put this in December 1st, I don't know, 1990, something along those lines. Woodcutter ran into a large, jolly fellow in the woods, trying to repair a bright red sleigh. You know, trying to keep things a little simple for right now. And then we'll do, let's see, we got why don't we also do office building? Sure, the office building will be our internal government affairs. Director Elvis Presley was out sick this day. Ate too many 5-layer burritos. And this happened on February 23rd, 2021. Yeah. So these are maybe some case files that a top secret agent might enter into this super secure database of case files. But we'll just kind of start with some simple ones like this. And why don't we try and get these drawing to the page somewhere? So let's go and create a controller, case files controller. And I might as well create my service while I'm here. Case files service, class case files service, service. Then we'll do our export const case files service equals new case file service. Export that, get our controller in here. Export class case files, controller constructor, and then we'll do our log file. The file controller, kind of load that in. We can't forget to go to our app.js, and I'm gonna get rid of the home controller again. Case files controller equals new case files controller, the imported one, not the blue box, the orange little tree here, just like that. Case files loaded. So maybe we can come back here. We'll start our draw case files list. Let's open up our index and we'll kind of come into the main here. And I kind of want to create like a sort of split view. I might actually zoom this window out just a tiny bit to give me a little bit more kind of space here. I kind of want on the left side of this page to be like a vertical list of files, maybe even on the other side, right? Kind of going down vertically. And if I were to click on one of them, you know, the main view of the page would kind of grow or would show a lot more details there. So I think I'm gonna go with container fluid here, section row, and then I think we're gonna do a call MD. Let's do 9. This is gonna be our large display area. Sweet. If I put a border on that, does that? Oh, it's super, super dim. Very hard to see. Border dark. Okay, so we can kind of see that. Yeah, that's probably about the right size I'm looking for here. Stub details display. Stub lists display. And then we'll just do a call on the other side, and this will be where our list of files go. If I spell files right, but yeah, list of files, cool. Maybe we'll just put in a little p tag here. Select, says select a file, class font weight bold. Okay, and then inside this column, I think I'm gonna do another section row, and this is where my ID will be for my case files list. So this is where I want to draw into. I want to draw into here inside my controller. So let's do this. We'll do const case files. We'll go and head over to the app state and pull our case files out. Const list content equal empty string. Again, we're kind of looping over these things. Case files for each case file. List content plus equals case file list template. Oh, I made that a const. I don't want to make that a const. That's why that's erroring. That should be a list. I need to modify it. And then we're going to say const list elm equal document get element by ID case files list, list elm, inner HTML equals list content. Then I really just need to this dot draw case files list when the page loads. Sweet. So we already kind of have those different cases kind of popping up. I do think it would be kind of funny if we actually came up with a case number, essentially. So potentially something we could actually do is we could actually say like a this dot case number equals maybe like this dot agency plus this ID. We can use slice. I'll maybe do like 0 to 5. This should give it should maybe pull off some of the, but the IDs are gonna have a lot of similar stuff. So maybe we go to the very end and pull things off. Maybe we do, what is it? They're 10 characters long. So maybe we'll do like 5 to 9. Try and pull something out of the center there. Maybe we'll do this case number instead. Ooh, not bad. 2 uppercase. And then maybe we'll even add in a little hyphen in there. Ooh, there you go. That's not bad at all. A1, 5-1, F4, 5D, F4, F5-4. Yeah, those are definitely feeling case filey. Do we have a position out to 10? Oh, we do. Nice. So still kind of keeping things like a little bit secret. Case A5155 DA sounds very, very official. Kind of just, throwing something together on the fly here to kind of create that case file information. Okay. If I refresh, did those change? Ooh, those do change. We're not really working with local storage right now, so this is probably okay that these are changing. Once we save these into local storage, though, we'll want to come back here and make sure that those don't change after they're saved into local storage, because that'd be a little weird if the case files changed every single time. It'd be a little weird if every single time we loaded the page up or loaded our stuff from local storage, those case files changed. So currently right now they are, but that is something that we will update afterwards. So what if we also did right here, we'll do a div, maybe we'll put in like an MDI file. Yeah, we'll do like an MDI file, and then we'll put in a span ID case count. So it'd be nice, like if I put 3 right here, this would tell me how many like cases I currently have. Class font size 4, maybe make that a little bit bigger. Margin bottom 2. Kind of liking that. HR. It's not bad. I think the font size 4 is probably way too big. Maybe we'll just do font weight bold like that. Select the file, current case files. I think maybe I'll flip these. Whoops. I do kind of like getting that count, but I don't want it to just be statically 3. So how can we come back to this case file thing here, and we will say const count elm equals document get element by ID, and we're going to grab this case count right here, paste that in. So we'll not only say list elm that, but we'll also say count elm dot, we can probably just get away with inner text this time, equals case files length to string. That way when it draws, it'll draw that in there. And now it's kind of like, well, it was 3 to begin with, so why don't we actually try and, if we take one of these out of the app state briefly, cool, we can see that go to 2. We'll just put that in. If we, potentially had a 3rd one or a 4th one in here, we can see that go to 4. Very cool. So that's kind of nice. It does kind of tell us, how many of those different ones we have. All right, we have these different case files. These are not really great displays, so we can probably update this div just a little bit with some more kind of styling here. I do kind of like the way that that case number is, but I do think we could potentially update these to kind of be button-esque text start, however, should kind of leave them like that. That just makes them, if you just put the BTN part from Bootstrap button, it does kind of give you this like clickable thing. We probably should add the role of button on here. Maybe we could also do font weight bold as well, since these are things that we could click on. Do think that's pretty good for these looking clickable as these different case files. Now, we just need to actually make them clickable. I'll put a little bit of margin on the bottom of them too. Maybe just margin bottom 1. Yeah, I kind of like that. That kind of looks good. Okay, so let's do something similar where we had a set active case file. So I kind of want that case file to go, into the middle of the screen as I click on one of these, and then I could potentially read the details about this case file. So we're going to need to log setting active, right? And in our case file, we're going to add an on click to our app.casefiles controller set active case file. A lot of words there, but doing it. Setting active, setting active, setting active. Sweet. That button's all hooked up and is good. We probably need to make sure that we know which one we are setting active. So what we can do is we can kind of toss in that ID, this ID. I know we kind of created this like case number, which might actually work too, because these are kind of like unique in a similar way, but that case number thing is just kind of a fun display for our buttons. We probably still want to use the ID, which is, pretty much guaranteed to be unique here. So let's make sure that this takes in a case ID, and we can log that case ID. Those are definitely different. And then we will go to case file service, set active case file, pass the case ID down. Kind of flying through this, but a lot of this is very similar to, kind of the stuff we've done before. Const selected case equals app state case files, find the case file where the case file ID is equal to the case ID, and then let's log. Maybe do point, point, and then we'll do the file, selected case. So if I click on this one right here, it essentially takes that ID, passes it into the controller passes it to the service goes to the app state, finds the matching one, and essentially says, here is the one that you actually selected. We can see that is the agency A51 Farmer John saw an unidentified object. We'll go to the Secret National Forest Service, or our other one as well, so we can see all of that stuff in there. We probably want to create not just an array of case files, but also a active case, okay? So that when we select one of these, we can almost set it aside in our app state here. App state active case equals the selected case, right? And we can even test this by logging our app state out. So if I click on my alien here, open this up, we can see I've got my case files, my examples, my active case. My active case is in fact that A1. We'll go down to the IGA. We can see that became the active case there. Definitely kind of review-ish, right? Kind of mixing together some of the things from Gachumon in a lot of the way. Now we just want to set this up so that if we select an active case and set it into our app state, let's draw it to the page, okay? So we will draw the active case. Okay, so we'll say const active case equals app state active case, and then const active content equals, if you remember from before, and in Gotchamon, we're kind of creating these draws with these contents, and then we're adding content together. But in the situation where we're only drawing a single thing, we definitely don't need to do this for eaching, right? This active case is only one thing. So let's just set it to potentially the body. You'll notice that I do not have IntelliSense on my active case. It's because my app state active case is null. Probably don't want that. I mean, we do want it to be null because there's not an active case until you select one, but we want that IntelliSense. Let's type this null as a case file. That way, our editor knows what we're talking about. And why don't we just use the body for right now? We have this large display here. So I think what I will probably do is just put the ID on here. We'll call this the active case. Copy that. Come back over here. Const active element equals document. Get element by ID, active case, active elm dot inner HTML equals the active content. Okay, we don't need the loops, right? Because I'm only trying to draw one thing. Those loops work great if I'm trying to draw many things, right? I have many cases or many lists that I need to draw, this list template. I'm only drawing one thing one time though here, so I don't need to do that. Okay, so when do I draw the active case? I could certainly do it after the set active case was ran, but probably what's a bit better is if I set up one of those observers on the active case in the app state to draw these active case, right? So I don't need to invoke draw active case myself. I'm instead going to set it up so that something's observing my app state. It's watching the active case by its name, right? Active case. So if this value ever changes to something else, go ahead and do this. Go draw that active case. So we're going to say A51. Now we can actually see essentially the body of that case. Woodcutter and a large jolly fellow in the woods trying to repair a bright red sleigh. Director Elvis Presley was out sick this day, ate too many 5-layer burritos, right? So we're able to kind of jump between those as we need. So this is cool, right? Already we have quite a bit of functionality here, and it's really just kind of the same similar thing that we were doing with our Gotchamon, just kind of like in a different format, different data drawn to kind of different things, but ultimately it's kind of the same structure here. I probably want more than just the body. I would say that just putting the body here doesn't really give me a lot. So what I'll probably do is kind of do my kind of classic. I'll kind of build out maybe what I imagine one of these to look like. So we'll probably put in like an H2, and this is going to have the case number in it, IG2B98 We probably want to have a P tag with the reported date, 08/31/1990, something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what it all was. We probably want to include the reporting agency. Something we could actually do is we could do kind of like a div here like this, and we'll put a P tag at the end with the alien or the building AGI. And what's nice here is we can do class deflex justify content between to kind of push that out there into the corner. It's probably pushing it out into the corner a little bit too much. Class font weight bold, but That looks pretty decent, I suppose. I might do font size 4 on this one to make that like a little bit bigger. We have our reported date there, and then we probably want the body right below this in another paragraph. But I might wrap this in a div for now. Warm, kind of make it look like that. This p tag, class bg white, border rounded, padding 2, class padding 2. Kind of push that kind of content in there like that. I think that looks pretty decent for kind of the starting active thing. Obviously, if I click on any of these, all of that will blow away because I'm now drawing into this area. I do not want to copy that active case. That would be bad. I only want to copy the interior of our active case. So I'll comment that out. Go back to my case file. Let's create a new getter. Get active case, active case file. Return HTML. Oops, I just copied a blank screen. I do have history in here though. Format selection is HTML. That looks a little bit better. So what we can do now is we can come in here and say this dot case number, this dot reported date. Oops, extra one in there. This dot agency. And then inside this little p tag right here, we will do our this dot body. Don't think I'm missing anything right now. We do call this the active case file though. So let's go back to our controller and replace this to active case file. So instead of drawing in the body, it draws in the active case file. And nice. Yeah, we already got quite a bit of stuff kind of rendering on the page. And I think that looks pretty nice. It's a pretty cool display of things. Sweet.